Hello friends, welcome to today's demo, yay! Today we are going to be talking about charms. So often when we think about charms, we think about, oh, a charm bracelet, right? That's like the thing that people always think about because it's really common and everyone knows about charms, using them for bracelets and things. But I wanted to just show you some other fun ideas. So first off, I'm going to show you how to do just a quick necklace. So I know that just seems like really basic, but it's actually kind of fun. And I actually carry a few different cords, which are really great for making necklaces. They're nice and soft. They're not going to scratch you or anything like that. Also, this is a great thing to use, a great technique if you have, I am notorious for losing earrings. I just, every other day, I'm like, oh, I lost an earring. And Taylor's always like, I feel like you say that all the time, and I'm like, I really do, because they catch on things on my clothing, and then they're just gone. And so then I have this collection of single earrings. So I was like, you know what, this is a great way also to use this, and I've seen other people do this idea too, and I just thought it was really fun. So what I'm going to do is I basically have one very large string. It is double this. When you fold it in half, it's going to be the same width as my other string here. So basically, when you put them all together, you end up with 3 strands, but one of them is going to be extra long with a loop on the side. So what I've done is I've just strung one of my little charms down below. So this is just a little flower charm. And then on this other one here, I'm going to string on this little wheelbarrow I thought was kind of cute. I'm just kind of going with like an outdoorsy kind of floral kind of scene here. And I'm going to do the little butterfly on this one as well. So those two are now next to each other. And then I'm going to have this little string here. And then we're going to loop this back. So I have all 3 of my ends on one side, and then on the other side we have the loop and the other string. Okay? So basically you just have this kind of grouping of 3 different ones, and they're all kind of all together at the moment. All right, so on my loop side here, this is where I'm going to attach the back of my my necklace. So I'm just going to tie this into a little knot. Now this is the piece I want to be the backing that's going to loop through, or it's going to go through the loop. So I want to make sure that the loop is just a little bit too small, so that way this will pull through, and then as you're wearing the necklace, it's not going to fall off. So I know that seems like a little bizarre, but because you want there to be a little tiny bit of a stretch in your twine here, so then you can push that through, but then it's not going to just again fall off. So we should be perfect. Oh, it might have been too small. Nope, that's perfect. There we are, wonderful. Okay, so now we have this extra little tail here. So I'm gonna pull this tight. Normally, I usually grab a pair of pliers and really yank on that. Or the other unofficial ways, sometimes I'll use my teeth and I'll pull on that because I know it'll pull well. I'm always just like, whatever tool I have available. But in the world of masks, I can't do that. So, all right, I'm gonna trim off that little tail. Okay. So we have that on one side, and then we have our grouping of 3 little charms here in the middle. And then on the other side, we are going to string this luckily ended up with a large loop here. So I'm just going to string those 3 through. And I'm going to tie myself a little knot on the very end so nothing falls off. And again, if I had a pair of pliers, this is where I would use them. I'm just going to pull these as tight as I can. 1, 2, and 3. I love charms. When I was younger, I was one of those kids that really wanted a charm bracelet. And then I was always collecting. And then I don't know if you've ever had a charm bracelet when you were younger, but then they get really heavy and then they're in the way. And I don't know what happened to my original charm bracelet because I collected them for a long time. But it was so big that it would fall, and then it was just like clunky, and then it would hit things, and some of my charms would break. And I kind of realized maybe it wasn't such a good idea to always wear a charm bracelet. It's for very specific reasons. Okay, so now I have my chunky charm on the back side, and I put a knot on there, and now I'm going to tie another knot right behind it, so then that way that charm doesn't move anywhere. I really love the idea of using charms in just different ways, because like I said, so often we get caught up in, oh, this is the only thing you can use it for, and now that's it. But the other thing that's really cool is that you can just combine the different themes together. So when I was pulling this idea together, I wanted to pick some things that were kind of gardening theme. I picked a butterfly, the floral, the wheelbarrow. I thought that was just really cute. Okay, so we're just gonna put these things together. I'm gonna just string this on the back side here so that your necklace is closed. And then I'm just going to pull these tight down here so we have all 3 of those. And you could have just wear that just as is. And it's actually kind of cool because you have the different, all the different lengths there. Oh, this one doesn't have anything on it. That's okay. So then, actually I think I can probably fix that right now. We have a little star here. Let's see if I can loop this on. If I can push this through. Yeah, we're just going to make this work. And let's see how I can do this. I think I can actually probably put a little knot on the very end, and we'll just secure that in place. We're just going to see. Normally I would have strung that on there too, but I didn't. That's all right. I'll just hang a little differently. And then, once you have all those together, so then you can have your fun, like I said, you have your fun little necklace kind of an idea. But you could also take all of those and then tie them so they all kind of dangle together. You can also use like a jump ring or a cinch of some kind to cinch everything together. But I just thought it was kind of cool having all of those kind of dangle together. And it's just kind of sweet. And again, you have that, it just kind of adds interest because sometimes when you're talking with someone, you realize like, oh wow, I actually really love what you're wearing today. And it's just kind of a fun little thing. So anyways, just using your charms as making jewelry. I thought that was kind of a fun idea. So there's that. That's just simple, quick. All right, so then let's put out some of my black paper here. Yeah, it's kind of interesting, kind of fun. I've made a number of necklaces over the years using some of the twines that we have here. And I just thought it was just kind of a fun idea.
Cute.
Okay.
That little flower is interesting.
Isn't that fun? I love that. I love all the little details in it.
Yes, it is interesting.
Okay. So I'm going to do...
flower charm like that.
Yeah, isn't that sweet? I know, there's actually a couple different flower charms over there. So I'm cutting my paper down to 4 1/4 sides because I want to make just a cute little square card here. I'm just scoring this. All right. Okay, so I just have my little, it's just a little black little square card here. All right, so now what I'm going to do, oh, I need to grab some hole punches. Hold on. I was going to grab these earlier. They're just in this little drawer right here. So these little hole punches, we have an 1/8 of an inch and we have a 1/16 of an inch. And so I'm just going to actually come in here and I'm actually just going to punch out a series of little holes here, which might seem like a weird thing to do, but just bear with me. I'm getting there. All right, so I like the idea of kind of creating like a starry night kind of a background. I just think it's really fun and really beautiful. And this is a great way to kind of create that kind of an idea, just using your little hole punches in the 2 different sizes. And so I'm just gonna, since my 1/8 of an inch hole punch doesn't always like to poke all the way through, I have these little hanging things here, which I'll just fold back over. Okay, then I'm gonna take some double-sided tape, and on the top, on the inside, I'm just gonna put some double-sided tape here, and I'm gonna grab my next little grouping. All right, so I've selected, whoops, I have this cute little charm that has like a moon and some tiny little stars on it. I don't know if you can see that, but it's so fun and cute. I just love that. And I also have some of these little funky star charms, which I thought were kind of cute. And then I have this twine. This twine is notorious for shedding. It wants to unravel all the time, and honestly, usually drives me absolutely crazy. And I always knot it, but on a card, it's sometimes kind of cool because you can do the knot and you get that really cool kind of fringe effect. So, but for this idea, I'm going to just pull this apart. So that way I get really tiny, fine little fibers there. Yeah. All right, so these are the little individual ones. And then I'm going to string those on to my tiny little charms. But of course, this frayed end always drives me crazy. So that's where the hot glue comes into play. So then we'll use that to create a very fine point. Then we can string that together, no problem. Yeah, it just makes sense. And so I'm going to go ahead and just tie a knot so I can tie that right on there. I'll just tie that tight. I'm going to do a double knot there just to make sure that it's not going to go anywhere. All right, now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just trim that off, and now I'm going to do the same thing with my other 4 there, because I have 4 little star charms. So we have 1, 2,
My goodness, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's really small, but sometimes you just need a really fine thread. And since I don't have any really fine gold thread here, I was like, oh, it's all right. We'll just make do. We'll just make it work.
Is that metallic?
It is, yeah. It's metallic gold is the color here.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's just a really nice, vibrant color. And for the style of card that I'm doing, I really wanted something that was nice and vibrant that would really stand out. Because I wanted to actually create something that was like little dangling stars. So if I didn't want it to be seen, I might use something like fishing line. But because I want the little strings to be seen, I'm using this gold fiber here.
Okay.
And I want them to be at different lengths. So I'm just making sure that I have enough here to do different lengths. And I think that I will be able to. And the last one here. All right. Okay. Now this other charm here, it's so funny. Sometimes they call these charms, but there's no loop on that. It's just circular. There's no loop.
No loop.
Yeah, so you can't actually go in and
Attach it,
actually
yeah.
attach it to any string, but that's okay because I have a plan. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of my little fibers here, and at the very ends, I'm just going to stick them on my double-sided tape. And again, I'm making sure that these are going to be at different lengths here. Some of them are going to be shorter than others. I'm going to leave myself a little bit of space between that one, and then we'll do another little thing through there. And I want to make sure that they aren't going to go past my card. But isn't that just such a fun idea already? I'm just already so pleased. Okay, but anyways, we'll come back to that. All right, I'm going to trim off any of these excess because I don't want them to be seen behind these little holes. Whoops. There we are. And we'll do this guy and this one here. Okay. All right, and then I'm also going to trim off all these little tails on here. I'm going to bring those right up short to the very edge because I want to make sure that one, those aren't going to come untied, but two, I also want to make sure that you can't see the little tails because they don't look as pretty. All right, okay. So now that we have all those little extra pieces, now I'm going to take my gold paper. I'm going to cut it just a tiny bit short, smaller than what I have here. So it's probably going to be 4 1/8 by 4 1/8 because I did my card base is 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. Okay, and then stick on some double-sided tape.
So is the card 4 1/2?
So I'm going to have about an 1/8 of an inch border, or about a 1/16 of an inch border on all four sides of it. So again, this is the inside of the card. So now I have this really bright, very, very bright gold paper here. It's this type of starting. It's one of my favorite golds. It's just absolutely beautiful. And then we're going to close that. And then we have our little dangling stars on the front with our little stars behind.
Yes.
Oh, a couple of mine. The little flaps from those got pulled back. So I need to pull those back. I'll remove them from this one here too. There we go. Perfect. Okay, isn't that just fun? All right, so then we'll take all of our little stars here, and I'm just going to put a tiny little dot of glue underneath them so that we get that dangled look, but then they're not actually dangling because that would just drive me absolutely crazy. Yeah, they're not really very secure right there, are they? Whoops. There we go. Okay. So again, I'm just going to put a little bit on that thicker part of the star, just a tiny little bit, because if I put too much, then you'll be able to see the glue. I'm just going to pull straight down and then press that in place. Because hot glue bonds very well to paper. It does not bond as nicely and cleanly to metal, but that's why I'm trying to work quickly here. So then that way the glue does not dry on the metal. Okay, and then we're going to do the other two. Again, I'm just doing it on the thicker part of that star here. I want there to be a small amount of glue because, again, if it bubbles out too much, then you'll be able to see it, which I don't want. And then we'll do this little guy here on the back. I'm pulling it like that just to make sure that, again, I don't have any that bubbles up there. And we have our little dangling stars. Isn't that so fun?
It is.
Of course, they're not perfectly straight, but that's okay. The effect is there. And then we're going to put our little moon with the little stars down below.
Yes.
Ah! I'm so pleased with it, but it's just so fun. And I just love the little tiny little stars in the background. It's just so cute. Isn't that just so sweet? And again, it's just another fun way to just use your charms in a new and different way. Oh, I am so pleased with that. Oh my gosh, that makes me so happy. I love it when things work out the way I want. Let's see.
Oh, that gold paper is really
Yes, it's so vibrant. It is definitely the most vibrant one. That's one of the cocktail lines. I think they call it Mai Tai, I want to say, or something like that. But it's even more vibrant than a lot of the other golds that I play with here at the shop. But I just had to share because I thought that was so much fun. And all right, so this next idea here. Oh, speaking, I've actually have that other shade of gold here. So this is the traditional shade of gold, and then you can really see how much more vibrant. It's just brighter is the difference there between the two different shades.
I may have popped that little one loose.
Oh, that's okay. It's not a problem. I'll repair it. I'm not worried about it. That is
That's
A-okay.
pretty paper.
Isn't this paper beautiful? I just love that. So I wanted to kind of create something in this kind of family here. So using my little charms, if I find them, look at them, and they're the ones I wanted. So these are the two little charms I was inspired with. So they have kind of almost an Asian-y kind of a look to them.
Yes.
All right, and once
they
again,
fast?
I'm gonna kind of do kind of a square style card, I think. Kind of leaning towards the square style cards today. Particular way. So we have again it's just a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 card. It's just a sweet little card. Okay, so then what I want to do here is we're just going to do some fun little quick layering. So we're going to do 4 1/8. 4 1/8. And then we're going to do the next size. And I'm probably going to do 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. And then the final one will be another 2 to 4. And there's something I was going to grab. Alright, and then we're going to do 3 by 3.
That was a neat paper too.
Yeah, it's a really, really nice one. Yeah, it's the guillotine style.
Yeah.
It's not as high quality as that old-fashioned ones that we're all used to that I love, but it does work.
But it works.
Yeah, I think someone gifted this one to me actually, but I really like it because it's very, very slicey.
Yes.
It gives you just a nice crisp edge, which I really prefer. Okay, so I really wanted to frame it out. I'm using a lot of black in here because I just really love the look of all of the blacks together, and this kind of movement here I just really, really like. So we're going to kind of create just kind of a different style here. So I'm taking this is an interesting pen. It's kind of in the gold tones, and it's a style of paint pen, but it's pretty fine. So we're going to see how this is going to come together here. I just have an idea. I don't know how well this will work, but we're going to just see what happens. Whoops. Well, right off the bat, I'm noticing that my pen, the ink is not quite, there we go. Because it's paint pen, I had to get started. I'm just going to do some lines there. And then we're going to do, oops, this line over here on this side. And then I'm just kind of creating some fun geometric lines and things. Kind of just creating some different kind of movement, things like that. Kind of creating this geometric style here. Again, when I went to Cheryl's last night, it was really inspired. She gave me some really fun ideas, and now my mind's going a million miles an hour, like, oh, what did she do? I can't remember, and it's okay. But just to be inspired by other people sometimes is fun because then you get...
It's fun. I enjoy it.
Yeah, because sometimes you just get different ideas. Just gonna see if I can just let it. All right, so we're just going to kind of see what this might look like. I don't know that I like it as much as I thought I was going to. So I think I might do something totally different. And that is A-okay. Sometimes that's just the way my life goes. Yep.
Maybe maybe that part can go inside or something.
Yeah, I might add it to the inside. I'm not quite sure what I want to do there yet, but that's okay. Sometimes I just have like concepts and ideas, but I haven't quite come together with what my plan is. Oh, I know what I'm gonna do. All right, so I'm gonna kind of do that same kind of idea that I did on the last idea. So I'm gonna take this and I'm actually just gonna go right into the corner here. And we're gonna put this right here. And then instead of doing what I was doing earlier, where I was going to do multiple layers, I'm just going to actually make that the focal point. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to start piecing my card together here. All right, so we'll do our gold layering. Sometimes that's just the way the demo goes. I have a concept. That doesn't mean I've tried it out yet, but that's okay. Sometimes that's just the experimentation part, the fun of experimentation. You just never know.
Yeah, until you try it, that's how things happen.
That's right, exactly. And then you know what doesn't work. No, not always my favorite, but you know, sometimes you just don't know. All right, so here we have our next idea. Here's that for you.
Yes. Oh, isn't that neat?
Yeah, it's just really, really fun. Again, just totally different with a little dotting on the sides there. But
With the orange background.
yeah, with the orange background with that. Yeah.
That is so cute putting those together.
Yeah, it is kind of a sweet idea, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yes.
our lighting is acting weird today. We might get some weird lighting issues. We'll see what happens. All right, so my next little charms I'm using here are these little watermelon charms. They're so cute. I just love them. And so I paired it with this fun watermelon paper.
Oh, yes.
Because I thought that would be cute. And again, this idea is just really kind of basic, but I just wanted to kind of show you just other ways to use your charms in just different ways. So we're going to start out with just a white cardstock piece here. And then we're just going to do some layering with some green and the pattern paper. So I'm gonna leave myself some space on the far side. So I think I'm gonna go even a little farther in. I want to give myself plenty of space so that I can put my little charms on the side there. And then of course my watermelon paper here. We're gonna go just a little too much. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attach my pattern paper to my background paper. Weirdly enough, this dark green that you're seeing here on this paper here, that paper color, I don't have access to it anymore, which is really frustrating. And so because it's a very popular color, especially around the holidays. So I've just been coming up with other ones. So this shimmery green is what I'm using today, and it does actually work nicely with the watermelon background. So I'm just going with it. And then for my side over here on the left, I'm going to pick a color of watercolor here that is going to be the right shade of this color here. So I'm just going to find one. I think it's probably going to be this one here. There we go. Oh, thank you. And then on the front of my card on this left side over here, I'm just going to kind of do a wash. It's not very saturated.
Yeah, that does match.
I'm trying to find the color, the same kind of idea here, because I'm trying to create kind of a watermelon kind of a look here, kind of like the watermelon juice, and you know how the watermelon juice gets everywhere, and you're like, oh my gosh. All right. So now I'm making a puddle of water here, and on the inside of the car I'm going to do some splatter, like there's watermelon juice all over the place. I'll just leave that to the side for just a second here. I'll be cleaned up. All right, and then actually I think on the front, well, I have to heat set this because I want to go to the next part of the card, but that's not dry enough. That's okay. That's what the heat gun is for. I'm so glad you're liking the demo today, Linda. Yeah, because again, you just never know how demos are going to go. Sometimes it's a good idea, sometimes it doesn't some of the ideas do not come out the way that I was hoping, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Again, that's just the way that demos go sometimes. All right, and then I really like the idea of having that splatter there, so I'm actually going to go with a little shade of darker, slightly darker red, and I'm going to do a slight splatter on top of that. I know the lighting is weird right now. I was having some issues yesterday. We think that might be a plug-in that's not quite plugged in somewhere. I'm not sure where it's at. Yesterday, it actually, the lights just went out suddenly, and I was like, oh, there's just this big one up here right above us. And then I messed with it, and I didn't do anything, and then it suddenly came back on, and then didn't flicker the whole rest of the day. And so I was like, what's going on? So I'm not sure what's happening. I had Taylor take a look at it, and he's like, I don't know. All right, so now I have my cute little splatter on the left there. I thought that was kind of sweet. And then we have our splatter on the inside. Okay, so now we're going to do our little layering over here. And because of that color is so vibrant here, and I'm saying it's not as vibrant in this paper, which I was hoping I could try and match that. So I'm actually going to take some of this color here, and I'm actually going to tie this back in just a little bit. Again, just to kind of bring that color back in.
Good idea.
Just ever so slightly. And it doesn't have to be on all of them, but then that kind of helps. You know, sometimes we're working with a card and we're like, well, that didn't match, but we can make do.
Yes, we can make it work.
We can make it work. All right, so again, I didn't do all of them, but then that really does bring that color back in, and now it does match.
Yes,
Again,
yes.
I didn't do them all, but it's just ever so
Here and there.
slightly. All right. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to lay this down here. I'm going to do myself a tiny little bit of a white border on that far right side. And now we get to glue on our little watermelons. How cute is that? Oh, and I'm going to do 3 on the front here because it's just fun and joyful, and I just like those. And if I had like a tiny little bit of red alcohol ink, I might go in and just do yeah, maybe just like the rind. I might add a little bit of red too, might be kind of cute. Or if I had like a little bit of black, I might like bring the seeds out or something. I'm not sure what I would do there, but I like the way that it is right now, so I'm okay with that. And then, because I have my 4th watermelon, we'll do another little watermelon in here. And it would be so cute if I had one that had a little bite out of it. And of course, I could probably fussy cut from the watermelon paper. But I just love using the charms here, and I just think that's really fun. So, isn't that just so cute? Oh, I love that. If there was another thing I might add like a little bit of a green ribbon, and I might do that later still, or I might add a little bit of gold. I'm not quite sure, but I just think that's really cute. Just like the watermelon theme. All right, on to my next idea. Okay, so what was that?
Oh, adding that extra pink.
Yeah, it definitely helps. It really needed it.
It adds more variation.
It does.
Yeah.
So yesterday I had card class, and in my card class, you saw the samples up front. One of the techniques I used was putting ink onto a craft mat and doing a monoprint onto chrome coat paper. So I'm going to show you what that entails, what that concept entails. So what we're going to do here is we're going to make some background paper. Oh yeah, you can leave that up here if you'd like. So I'm going to take, this is distress ink. This ink moves with water. So I'm going to actually smoosh it onto my craft mat here. And I started out with cracked pistachio. Now we have peacock feathers. And now I'm going to do faded jeans. So I basically have this I'm picking kind of oceany kind of colors. And this paper I'm using here, this is chrome coat, which is glossy on one side and matte on the other side, okay? Yes. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to spritz the ink here, and this is activating the colors. And then this is how, I'm going to show you, this is how I got that effect on those cards that you saw up front. So I'm just going to pick up some color here, and then just bring that over. And then I'm also going to do the same thing over here, and again, I'm just going to bring that over here. And I can always get it some more color, and in fact, I think I'm going to, just because I want just a bit more going on here, and I think I'm going to do the same thing here. There we go. All right, now I'm going to take my heat gun. Amazingly, with this chrome coat, when it dries, for whatever reason, chrome coat is the only effect that this happens with. You see all of that texture in the swirls. It's really actually quite fascinating. So I'm going to show you what that entails. But yeah. Normally when you do a monoprint onto normal paper, it just looks like watercolor, but this paper specifically really brings out a lot of texture, and I just absolutely love it.
It moves around and changes.
Yeah, it really does. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Again, there's no other paper that I carry that has the effect quite like that with the inks. So the chrome coat paper, the reason why it does this is because the paper is referred to as having a permeable surface, which means that the ink actually goes into the paper, falls beneath the layer of glossy, and so then if I were to take water and spritz it on here, even though this ink traditionally is not waterproof, the inks aren't going to move. They aren't going to go anywhere because it's fallen below that surface. It's a permeable surface. So you get this really cool effect on here that you really just would not see on any other normal paper. So I wanted to show you that.
Yeah.
Now we're going to talk about the charm part of this, because this is not the charm part. This is just the technique part. I just wanted to show you how I did the waves, because I just thought those were really fun. Okay, so then we're going to get out, this is the stamp I chose to use. It says, "My life is like a stroll on the beach, as near to the edge as I can go." I just thought that was such a great sentiment. I just absolutely love that. So I wanted to make a card that was kind of inspired from that. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp my little sentiment here. I'm just going to do this on the far right side. Nice. So it's just a nice little sentiment, really beautiful. And then, because I wanted to have my papers here with that kind of oceany kind of a look, this is where it gets a little weird. I'm actually using sandpaper, like literal sandpaper from the hardware store. Okay. Right. So we're just cutting their sandpaper here to be that kind of sandy kind of a look. And then we have our little sentiment, and then we're going to take our little ocean pieces here. And we're going to just line these up. Because I want this to kind of look like a sand on the beach here. And then we're going to take this and we're going to cut this down to size. All right. And then we're going to line this up here. Now I want to get the one that looks the most like the water movement. I just think that looks the best. And then I'm going to take this and I'm actually just going to cut some things that maybe kind of look a little on the wavier side. And then we're going to do the same thing with this one underneath it, because I love the idea of having kind of a two-tone, kind of a wavy kind of a look. I really love this edge right up here at the very top. So I'm going to try and capture that the best that I can. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to, but we'll see. I'm going to kind of actually follow the movement along here. All right. Hey, that's not so bad. And I might even take a little bit of this darker blue and run it just up against the edge of this, just to give a little bit more separation. Eventually that will dry on there. I'm not worried about it. Whoops. Oh man, the lighting is, I'm gonna have to do something about that. I'm not quite sure what though. All right. And I'm gonna trim this off on the edge here. Okay, so now I'm gonna start piecing this together. If I had a little bit of brown ink, I might color a little bit of the sandpaper. I'm not sure that that would bond to it very well, but we'll just go with what we have here at the moment. All right, so now let's start piecing our paper together, our card together rather. So let's stick this down. We're going to stick our second wave on top of that. Oops, make sure my tape isn't showing there. I just love the idea of the waves. I mean, isn't that movement just wonderful? Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so pleased with that. Okay. All right, so I'm going to stick that down on the far right side here. Have an even border on the top and bottom. And then we're going to see where our sand is going to fit. I think I'm just going to take off even more of this and give myself even more of a... I'm just trying to think about sand of the ocean and how it kind of goes in and out. You know, how the waves kind of make it move like that. So I'm trying to give it a nice flow there. Oh, hey, that's not so bad. That's kind of better. All right, I'll put my little double-sided tape down. Okay, now, I know you're eager to know how I'm going to use charms in this. So, look up there. My tape is having problems. I'm having all sorts of technical difficulties today with the lights and everything. That's okay. All right. Sometimes it's just my life, but that's all right. We'll just roll with it. Okay, so now we have our sand and we have our ocean, and I'm so pleased. Oh my gosh. And then the final piece, the charm, which is our little seashell. Isn't that so cute? So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to take that little loop of the charm, because it's driving me crazy. I'm actually going to bend it to the inside so I don't have to see it, because it doesn't really make sense to have the little charm piece when it's not hanging from anything. So now I'm going to take my hot glue. I'm going to stick that down. I'm just going to stick that down right there on the weird little bloop, whoops, that my sandpaper has.
Yeah. Well, how about that?
Yeah. I think I need just a touch more glue underneath that little charm there. It's not quite sticking. It's because that charm has
This little star.
dimension.
This little star needs more.
Oh, and that little star needs it too. Okay, great. Whoops. I might have to fix that little glue bloop that's sticking out there. All right. I'll just stick that straight down. There we go. My little glue strings.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'm just gonna fix my little charm here. There we are. Perfect. And now we have our little sand beach. So life is like a stroll on the beach, as near to the edge as I can go, and then you have your little beach charm. Of course, if there was other little beach charms there, I could also put those in place. But I just really, really love that. I thought that was just so cool. Okay, now I have one more idea to share with you. Put these to the side here. Okay, so the last idea I have, we are going to do something with this paper. So this is this beautiful angel paper. It's just a paper that I've had for quite a while, but it's just really stunning. You could use this for sympathy. Traditionally, they had used this paper as a Christmas holiday paper. I think it says Silent Night, Heavenly Peace on the back side. But it's just a really beautiful paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and cut out a little piece of this. And then I have this kind of white paper here that has almost, it's really hard to see, but it has a very soft fleck of white in it. I don't know if you can see that. It's really a beautiful paper. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and just melt it. So anyway, with your little charms, and you can really see your little angel paper kind of coming to life there. So, and there we have it. All right, I think I'm going to go ahead and end the demo there. So we have all of our fun ideas, and I'm ending it just a little bit early, but that's okay. I had lots of ideas to share with you. My little beach with my ocean movement, and then the little dangly stars with the little moon. And I just love that concept. So fun. And then of course,
5 cards and a
the
necklace.
watermelon. And yes, 5 cards and a necklace. Yes, in our little, the quick little charm demo there. So anyways, thank you for joining me for demo today. Thanks for joining me, friends. I'll see you guys later.